When it comes to celebrities, part of their appeal is definitely their look, to the extent that they bank off their look at times because it is a part of their brand. Sure, they go and sometimes do work to suit certain ventures or roles, but other times it's just that they transform on their own and you can't really tell who they are anymore because you don't know them from a certain snapshot. So allow us to show you 8 celebrities that you can barely recognize now. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 8. Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill isn't the biggest name in Hollywood, but he has done films that matter in various ways. He started with Superbad, did Moneyball with Brad Pitt, War Dogs with Miles Teller, The Wolf of Wall Street with Leo DiCaprio, and so on and so forth. And through it all, he has had some massive fluctuations with his weight, which has gotten him attention of various kinds. He was known for a long time for being the big guy and actually got made fun of it a lot for it. So he decided to get thin, then he got big again, and then he doubled down and decided to lose weight, a lot of it. So he actually let himself go in reverse, and he has been very forward and honest about how. I found that Japanese food was very helpful to me, as I could eat more but not get much bigger. Then I went to a nutritionist and I said, I'll lose weight, I'll eat healthier and whatever, but figure out how I can drink beer. It's so annoying because when I don't drink beer, I get really thin. Then when I drink a beer, I get a little bigger. While it's true that his movie image may have been hurt by his loss in weight, sometimes feeling better is much more important than getting a lot of movie roles. And he's done fine on his own behind the scenes with his new skinny form. So as long as he's happy, that's all that matters. Number 7. Val Kilmer. Many people forget that Val Kilmer at one point in time was one of the peak guys in Hollywood. He was a key character in Top Gun, he was Batman in Batman Forever, and more. He also had an inspiring performance as Jim Morrison from The Doors. But for whatever reason, Val Kilmer just can't go and stick with one weight. You likely have seen all the various pictures and memes of Val, including the side-by-side, with him being rather huge and going, "Hey everyone, I used to be Batman." And to be fair, that was indeed the case for a long time. He has gotten back into fighting shape somewhat recently, but not unlike Jonah Hill, he has had trouble with fluctuations. He needs to do better by himself if he's going to be healthy, but that's his choice, and whether he's able to get stable again will be on him and no one else. Number 6. Lil' Kim. In many ways, Lil' Kim is an example of going way too far with plastic surgery in order to make oneself look pretty. The irony of this is right there in front of you, because at one point in time, Lil' Kim was viewed as one of the most beautiful women in the musical industry, even having posters of herself plastered on the walls of many young fans. But then, over time, she decided to change her look, and not unlike Michael Jackson, she lightened her skin heavily, as well as had various augmentations to her skin and body to basically create a whole new look. When you look at her now, she's nothing like that poster form she once had, and her music career isn't anywhere close to what she once was. This is the kind of story that is meant to warn you about what going too far looks like, and you can see why that is. Why anyone would want to go that far to change themselves is beyond us. Number 5. Christian Bale. Will the real Christian Bale please stand up? We say that because at times Christian goes very far to tailor his body to the role that he is in. From The Machinist, to the Dark Knight trilogy, to The Fighter, to Vice and more, Christian Bale is a man of many body types. And to be clear, he did this to himself and on his own. Now you could argue that Batman was the only one where he needed to be in a certain body type, but the others, well, not so much. Yet he did it because he wanted to be the perfect person for that role. And yet he's done great performances and won awards for those performances. But you have to wonder if there is something wrong with his body because of all those fluctuations. Number 4. Jennifer Hudson. Despite not winning in Season 2 of American Idol, Jennifer Hudson had one of the most prominent and lucrative careers of the lot, of any season. Now, she is a Grammy Award-winning singer and an Oscar-winning actress. However, in terms of appearance, she has changed drastically since her early days on American Idol. She lost 80 pounds and dropped 10 sizes in her waist. Her secret isn't much of one, honestly, as she went to Weight Watchers to get everything going after the birth of her son. I had to break my diet mentality. I used to deprive myself, thinking that was healthy. I didn't eat pasta, fried food, red meat. I hadn't had pizza in 10 years. Today, I know now that I can eat anything I want and still lose or maintain my weight. It is all about portions and balance. She's doing very well with her new form, and no doubt she is a lot happier with who she is now, and it's good that she feels comfortable with where she is. Number 3, Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser is hailed as many things, including a common man actor of sorts that has led to him getting roles like the Mummy trilogy or Journey to the Center of the Earth, or that cameo he did in the first G.I. Joe film that turned some heads. After those days, though, his roles really dried up, and some bad decisions cost him a lot of roles in Hollywood, as well as his physical health. The biggest thing you'll notice is his face and hair, which have gotten bigger and more distressed. The rest of his body has fluctuated a bit, and it's actually worried people how big he's gotten, and at times, he's looked really unhealthy. Today, he is acting again, and he's also the voice of Robot Man in the DC universe of Doom Patrol. Now that being said, he's not on camera as himself too often, but when he is, you can tell he isn't what he was. Could he get healthier? Of course, but whether he does, well, that's unclear. Number 2, Eminem. It honestly would be hard to do this list without talking about the one and only Eminem, mainly because if you look at him now versus what he was when he first started out in the rap world, you're going to see a huge change, and part of it has to do with his coming around as a person. You see, when he was just a young buck in the rap world, his trademark look was pale skin, blonde hair, and being very thin. He was the exact opposite of how a rapper was supposed to look. And yet, he was not only a force on the mic, he was one of the best-selling artists for an entire decade. But after various things went on in his life, his look slowly started to change. He went and started having issues with drugs and overeating. And after almost dying, he went and started exercising far too much. Eventually, he calmed down and started doing better for himself and for his family. As a result, he's now been sober for over 10 years, and to top that off, he looks much more like an aged veteran with dark hair, a beard, and more. Some have made fun of it, sure, but Eminem knows what's real and what ain't, and he's still a boss to this day. Number 1, Oprah. For over 20 years, Oprah was the face of daytime talk shows, and for good reason. She was fun, funny, had great guests, and more, but she was almost always careful about how she appeared in front of her crowd, which was something that many people noticed and appreciated. When you see her in her natural form, you'll see that she's nothing like what she was on TV, even noting one time that it takes her hours to get her makeup to look like she wanted before going on camera. Most people do a double take when you see the real Oprah, and we're not going to blame them for that. But it also goes to show you just what happens behind the scenes, if you will, for shows like hers. Because she literally gets dolled up to try and make her seem more appealing to the audience. She's lessened this in recent years, but you can still see the various touch-ups done to her. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at celebrities who don't exactly look like you thought they did before? Which of these transformations do you find the most curious? Which ones do you find the most shocking in terms of just how much they've changed their appearance? Do you know of any other celebrities that should be on this list? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.